Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your reading. Okay, let's go ahead and see what comes out for you. Ooh, Lovers reversed. Interesting. So there could be some disconnect between you and another individual, sure. All this Virgo activity is happening in your 7th house. So partnerships, romantic connections, business partnerships, all those kinds of things are absolutely at play for you right now. So if there is some kind of disagreement or you're not necessarily running parallel, you could be experiencing some tension within your connections. This often happens, by the way, when we have so much activity going on across from our major planets, whether it's across from our sun, our ascendant, or our moon. There can often be, like we're having to figure something out internally. Okay, so we're having a lot of things being mirrored back to us. So your internal balance is especially relevant at this particular point in time, because your internal balance will then in turn, reflect the other way. Now, you are likely dealing with someone who might also be struggling with their own duality as well. This is a card of Gemini specifically, but I often see this as kind of actually, obviously it can be any sign, it doesn't have to be Gemini, but it's someone who is in their head a lot. Like they way overanalyze things, they way overthink things. Maybe that's a part of what you're doing too, and it's just maybe an indication to just put your mind at rest and listen more closely to what your heart and your gut are saying, because our minds can get us in trouble so often. Our minds can talk us out of really good things for no good reason sometimes, so be careful of what your mind is saying. Be careful of how your mind is directing you and leading you. And it's also, trying to keep you safe. It's trying to kick in those, comfort zones and trying to make sure that you're safe and all of that. And yet sometimes we are needing to get pushed and to get uncomfortable a little bit. So you may need to act in spite of what your mind is telling you. 2 of Cups. Wow. If this isn't a relationship reading, I don't know what is, okay? There's, I think, a time for you to bring something to the table, to have that conversation that you probably really don't want to have, to say those things that you probably don't really want to say. But honestly, your vulnerability is going to be appreciated, right? Because this is another person, meeting you halfway. This is probably the beginning of something. It might be the remnants of Leo season, like being all in our own self and all in our own ego and like, well, this is my life, that's your life. It's very separate. But then we come together and say, okay, well, we need to work together. We need to realign. We need to figure this out. So this is, at the very least, it's a conversation. Okay, at the very, very least. At the very best, this is absolute forward motion towards something in the future. Okay, it can be romantic, yes, absolutely. It can be a soulmate connection, yes, absolutely. It can be something even more intense than that too, so it's going to be important for you to monitor how it's affecting you physically and energetically. All right, but good. That's a really good follow-up card for the Lovers, because when 2 people might be, a little displaced, the 2 of Cups is, okay, let's get grounded, let's realign, let's figure this out, let's talk about it, and let's make something happen, Let's take this somewhere. Pisces, you might want nothing more than to do that. 5 of Wands. You might want nothing more than to just reconcile, nothing more than to work it out. 5 of Wands is the ego stuff. Okay, it's when I think I'm right and you think you're right, and there could be office politics big time. Okay, Virgo has a lot to do with coworkers in the workspace. So there could be stuff going on at work. There could be stuff going on with your children as well, or in your domicile. So, oh man, it's like people don't want to work together, right? That's what I was saying with this. Like, you want nothing more than to meet people halfway. typical Pisces fashion. I often see Pisces and Libra being so similar in this fashion. You're like the peacemakers of the zodiac, right? Like, let's not fight, let's not have tension, let's just all relax, let's just chill out, let's not, cause a big problem, let's just get along and be nice to everybody. That's like totally Pisces Libra stuff. And usually it works, usually you can tap into that natural peacemaker within yourself, but sometimes people just don't want to hear it. And because Virgo season can be really harsh, it can be really exacting, and what happens is our imperfections so clearly get reflected back to us, and people can't handle it. They can't vibe with all the things that is wrong with them, wrong with them, quote unquote. So they take it out on people. They act out, they get petty, they get ridiculous, they get a little manipulative, and it's all like self-preservation, Pisces, keep your eye on the Two of Cups. It's going to be really important for you to be the one to make that always an option. It's like no matter how badly someone acts out, no matter how badly the drama gets, if you create and maintain the space for the Two of Cups conversation, you will likely at some point during the month, you'll likely get to that space, right? You'll get to that point of let's work it out. You just got to kind of let people get through their own drama. This one just super fell out. 8 of Wands. A lot of passion here, yeah. Lovers, Two of Cups, Wands and Wands. Like, it's passionate. It's passionate, it's driven, it's aggressive. Pisces, you are moving so quickly. Your life is changing really fast. And I think we're all feeling the effects of the Saturn-Pluto stuff, like this month especially, because from this Earth sign to the next Earth sign, Saturn starts going back direct later on in September, very late Virgo season. So at that point, we feel that push of like, okay, it's go time for this Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Like, this change is happening. And you feel your life changing rapidly. And you may see some pretty drastic things happening between now and January, and you're going to start, it's going to start soon. So whether it's a change in totally different location, like a totally different city or different state or country for some of you it's a completely different kind of partner, whatever it is. 8 of Wands is the good stuff. It's the things that you want coming toward you. So, in spite of the 5 of Wands, it's going to be really important for you not to indulge in the drama, okay? Step back, maintain your peace, all right? Maintain your peace and find your own balance. That's what you're responsible for here. That's the only thing that's really important. And if you do that, amazing things are going to start happening for you. I often see the 8 of Wands as being similar to the Wheel of Fortune, but the wheel is turning quickly, and it's always good luck. Right? Number 8. It's always a good thing. Stay out of this. You don't need to be a participant in that at all, especially if it's workplace stuff. It is not your problem, right? It's not your problem, most likely. So don't make it your problem. Hopefully the issues aren't at home, but if the issues are at home, keep the eye on the Two of Cups. That's where the gold is found. It's going to get a little rocky, but it's not too bad. You might be dealing with a Knight of Wands. Or actually, no, maybe this is you guys, real Jupiterian. You guys are ruled by both Jupiter and Neptune. So the Jupiter archetype is always so prominent when I do readings for you guys. It's highly optimistic, always wants to see the best. It wants to see the best in people, and it wants to see the best in outcomes and situations. It just wants everyone to be, like I said before, it just wants everyone to be happy. If you're dealing with a Knight of Wands individual in a romantic capacity, though, this can be problematic. And it can be, the antagonist for the 5 of Wands and Lovers Reverse kind of stuff, because the Knight of Wands can be a very transient energy, very in and out, kind of like a tourist in your life almost. Like Pisces wants permanent residence, if you're going to come into my life romantically, I need you to kind of stick around. But this person is just wanting to graze, wanting to take a few tastes, a few samples and move on. But in a way, that's actually kind of an interesting way for you to look at your life too. This is going to be an experimental month. Okay, Virgo season is ruled by Mercury after all, and Mercury is really curious. So experimentation is not off kilter for you. Experiment with your choices, experiment with your options, experiment with possible adventures. Maybe there is some travel for you guys. Out 2 cards, one after the next of travel specifically. So if you have an option to travel, like yes, 100% do it. Experiment with your life. Play with your life a little bit. Have fun. Stay out of the 5 of Wands and just go have fun. You know? Enjoy it. Knight of Wands is... It just is. It's neither good nor bad. It's just a certain way of being, or maybe you are dealing with someone. If you're dealing with someone who's in your life who's kind of doing an in and out thing, it would be in your best interest not to judge them too harshly, but rather to set the boundary. That's all, right? It's not about judging them. It's not about being angry at them for anything. It's just about setting the boundary. Okay, so you just have to be clear of what you want. But really, both cards are cards of good luck. So there's that at least. There is that. Okay, what else? This is the boundary. Boundary from a certain Knight of Wands people, okay? And boundary from the 5 of Wands people. You probably have multiple storylines going on in your life right now, right? Multiple points of focus. Something going on at work, something going on at home, something going on with a parent or a relationship. And really, you're the firm one, right? Being mutable water, that's actually a really good place to be, because you have the power and the flexibility of being mutable water, but the power of like almost a fixed earth as well. So there's a great deal of stability in where you're at. You've done so much work, you know, Pisces has done so much internal work. We all have. You've grown, you've changed, you've transformed. You know, you are a person now that maybe the you from 2 years ago would never even recognize. So, you know, you've accomplished so much. You are in a place of victory. You are in a place of having done a really good job. And I think the will and the desire to protect that is really, really strong. You know, it is. And in a way, it's almost like I will do anything to protect this place that I'm at. 5 of Wands can't penetrate me. A Lover's reverse can't penetrate me. A Knight of Wands, in and out, transient person, like it just can't bother me. It just simply can't. You're well taken care of. Okay? And the more and more firm you are in your boundaries, just the more liberated you are, in a way. Right? The more liberated you are. What else? I think you're really dealing with someone who's like, you're like, wait, what? You know, like, what are you saying? Because last week you said this, like, and you're, you know, someone who's very flip-flopping, changing their mind a lot, not making sense a lot of times. I think that's what that Lover's reverse is really talking about. A lot of travel cards, you know, transition, movement forward, finding your way closer and closer to a peaceful life, peaceful existence, peaceful relationships. I think you're feeling more and more lucky. Was that a word? Like you're feeling lucky. Like there is good luck around you right now. Jupiter's going direct now, so, you know, there's that. Where is that in your chart? 10th house. Oh, well, there you go. 10th house, Jupiter moving forward, life becomes more lucky. And as Jupiter makes its way into the 11th house later on in like November or December of this year, through Capricorn and then on its way through Aquarius, you know, you'll have more and more and more opportunities for building that business, making more money, making more friends, you know, experimenting with life like we're talking about. But really, really, really good luck. So 6 of Swords is very balanced, very, very peaceful. peaceful in a turbulent environment. That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. You've learned the big lessons already, you know? So it's not like you have to sit around and do all the hard learning. It's not really about that anymore. It's about just letting yourself be happy. And Hanged Man, which is a card connected to Pisces, okay? Very Neptunian, hands tied, all right, tied behind your back. But yet through the Hanged Man phase, being suspended, not having a lot of control over where your life is or where it's going, right? Or not where your life is going, but like what other people are doing, and you know, like, because it's so based on their free will. And so when you're kind of in this state of just hanging out, you have an opportunity to see things so clearly. That's really what this card is about. It's about seeing things clearly, coming into consciousness about yourself, your existence, your purpose. And I think you're coming into purpose if you haven't already aligned with it. That's what Saturn and Pluto is so good for, is all the things that have not necessarily brought peace into our life or brought happiness into our life. Those things are completely off the table now. So what really makes you happy, Pisces? What really brings you peace? What really brings you joy? Are you a healer? Are you a communicator? Are you a teacher? Are you a magician? Like, what are you? There's a spiritual purpose in there for everybody, right? We all have one. So that's going to become more and more prevalent in your life. And the more prevalent it becomes and the more undeniable it becomes, the less, like when you wake up, you don't feel stress. When you wake up, you don't feel pain. You don't feel sadness. It's quite the opposite. You feel invigorated. You feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do. Ten of Wands. It's not going to be easy dealing with the Five of Wands, you know, and the Lover's reverse. It's definitely not going to be like such a... hold on, sorry. It's like stuck to the table there. It's not going to be an easy go. You know, you have to still deal with it. Just make sure that you aren't holding yourself responsible for situations. This is where the boundaries come in. Make sure you're not holding yourself responsible for situations that are clearly not your responsibility. Like, let people make their bed, let people lay in it, let people create trouble for themselves, because it's the only way they're going to learn, you know? You don't have to try to control anything. I don't see you trying to control anything. I just see you feeling so like, oh my God, I have to do something. I have to... No, like this is behavior that is part of the Saturn stuff, like trying to go out the window. It's the part of you that is maybe overly self-sacrificing, the part of you that cares so much, that's highly empathic, that always wants to fix things, and that's just simply not going to serve. It's just simply not. It doesn't have a place for your future. You have to set the boundary. It's not your job to fix the problems. Okay? It's really, really not. So don't put that on your shoulders. All right? All right, let's go ahead and switch views so you can see all the cards, and we'll pull out a few more for you. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Okay, Pisces. So here you can see how the cards are kind of laid out. The more and more I look at this, I really like what's happening in this particular set of cards here. This is you, I think, really stepping up to the plate in terms of inviting the good things in your life. You're like, yeah, universe, I'm ready. I'm good. Like, I'm over it. Let's get this show on the road already. Let's not drag this out. So I like that. I do. I think that's excellent. Hanged Man coming out again. Stuck in suspension. Well, I mean, we have all these planets opposing Neptune, okay, later on in September, or rather later on in Virgo season. So what happens with Neptune opposition, and the Strength card, excellent, 2 major arcana. what happens during those transits is a lot of the things that we think are concrete and that we think are real become what we say undone, right? That's kind of the essence of Neptune and the Piscean archetype, is things become undone. So our beliefs, what we think to be true, turns out, nope, not so true, not so real, not so much of whatever we thought it was. So you have to kind of hang on during those periods of time, which is why the Hanged Man came out near the end. You have to hang on. You have to sort of continue forward and not second guess all of the amazing things, right? Because some people may feel tempted to be like, okay, well, maybe I really don't deserve something better. And then you can fall back easily into the Five of Wands. It's not the case. It's just the illusionary aspect of Neptune coming out to play, which kind of forces us into being truly aligned, because when we're not aligned, that's when we get all sort of off kilter. So make up your mind now about how you want this month to go for you, not with anybody else, but for you specifically. How do you want this month to go? Set that intention. And when it gets a little confusing or it gets a little tough, remind yourself of this moment. Like, I promised myself I was going to stick to it. I promised myself I was going to keep working at it. And that's just what it's going to be. Okay. So we got a few cards popping out, but I'm just going to take the top one because it was the only one I really looked at, which is frankincense. So this has a lot to do with meditation, perception, okay, and concentration. If you have an opportunity to go buy the frankincense resin, or if you like essential oils, I absolutely recommend incorporating this into your regimen to an extent, just because here it is. During your meditations, it will help you feel grounded. It will help you feel peace. This is my favorite resin to burn, actually, more than any smudge stick, any sage, any cedar, anything. Frankincense is always my favorite. I feel like it truly gives me a whole new, air to breathe. When you feel like you have a whole new air to breathe, you feel like your body is more invigorated. So find a way to concentrate, whatever you need to do, whatever your individual ritual is. Find a way to keep it steady, okay? Keep yourself steady. You don't need to be thrown off by Neptune transits. In fact, Neptune transits can always take us up a couple notches in our consciousness, It can take us to new heights of understanding. It can be really, really beautiful if you allow it to be beautiful. Just don't get caught up, because people might be freaking out. And one more from the Psychic Tarot. Triumph. This is going to be a great month for you guys. I'm not worried about this at all. This is similar to the Chariot card. So we have the Chariot and the Strength card coming out, which do signify you are on point. If you feel forward momentum, jump on it. Honestly, that is what it's like, almost like the stubbornness with the momentum, stubbornness with the future, stubbornness to meet the universe with the good things and to be ready. It's not a stubbornness that's going to keep you stagnant. It's not a stubbornness that's going to keep you in one place. It's like, no, let's do this. Interesting energy between the motion and the movement and the Hanged Man, which is keeping you suspended. But it's like suspended in the motion, suspended in the change and in the movement. So it's so much mutable stuff going on right now that, yeah, of course, it's agile, it's flexible. We have to be flexible. Okay, Chariot is here for you. You're aligning. Let's take a look at these cards. Lovers reversed. Okay. See, there's some shade, man. Super, super shade. And that is frustrating, I know. Someone trying to pull you down, someone trying to deceive you. It's Neptune, you guys, but Black Moon Lilith in your sign doing you tons of favors, in that you're going to be able to really sniff that stuff out. Yeah, you have to create the space for the Two of Cups. I love it. Create the space for the conversation. It's going to be up to the other person to come to the table with it. It's not your problem. Okay? Just so you guys know, these are the cards that I cover in the comprehensive reading. We'll talk for like another 20 to 25. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so crazy. We'll talk for another 20 to 25 minutes. On the comprehensive, link will be in the description box down below. So these are the cards we'll talk about. My goodness. So real, like it may feel like life is testing you a lot. It's testing how compassionate you can really be. Compassionate is also detached. Compassionate is also detached. One more for that. A lot of fives just came out. Can you feel someone else's pain without letting it bring you down? Without making you feel tired? Without making you feel obligated? Ooh, another Chariot. A lot of repeated cards so far. Oh, excellent. We like a Ten of Swords reversed. We really do. Another card of Pisces. You guys are being represented. There's someone in your life that you wish was a different way. Right? You wish they were different. You wish it was something else. You have to just be honest. It's not about trying to change anybody. Sometimes in these readings, we get totally different kinds of messages. So I think that this is going to kind of go in that direction, maybe a little bit off to the side, a little bit in an oblique angle. That's very, very common with these comprehensives. So just be prepared for that. There's going to be some interesting things that come out regarding those energies. Okay, so here we have the Justice, Knight of Coins, and the Two of Wands. Beautiful. Let's look at the Hanged Man. You're definitely dealing with a fire sign or someone who's very fiery in nature. Like they're just really sporadic, unpredictable, like they can pop at any time, pick up and go at any time. And I see you just completely unwilling to walk on eggshells around them, you know, just completely unwilling. No desire to cater to them whatsoever. And that can be really frustrating for them because it's different behavior, you know? Here we have the Hanged Man again. Ooh, Five of Wands reversed. Excellent. Let's look at Strength. Okay. And the Eight of Swords. So this is where we'll pick up for the comprehensive. So if you want to join me, link will be down in the description box. Thank you guys again so much for everything. I wish you absolutely nothing but the best. Have an excellent Virgo season. Take care.